to make my sleep experience just a little bit more, I guess, on the quality of concern. It's not always about the hours. Sometimes it's about the quality.
Yes, I agree, definitely. I find myself, if I have, let's just say 6 hours and it's quality, I'm doing pretty well. There's a lot of things that go into that, but I feel good. If I wake up after 3 hours, then, or after say 4 hours, if the way, even if I'm in bed for 7 to 8 hours, like I'm way, way worse. So yes, exactly.
There's something about hitting that right number, but it's also, like you said, the quality of that sleep has to be there. So there's a lot of factors that go into the quality of sleep, mainly one being just your state of mind before you go into bed, and really being, you know, less stressed than maybe the day provided you. So with these top 5, I know we'll get into stress as one of them, but the first one, I got my list down here. So if I'm looking down here, don't mind. But anyway, the first one is really just finding your right sleep sanctuary temperature number. So some people like it very, very cold, and studies show that between 62 and 68 degrees is the most optimal sleeping temperature. And your body actually, when it goes to bed, it's usually just warm from moving around. And then as you sleep, you actually lose some temperature. And that's when you're kind of wake up in the middle of the night and you're like looking for that extra cover. Your body actually went down just a little bit in temperature, but keeping a cold environment is optimal for sleep. And it brings me to number 2 in the bedroom again, would be having the room 100% blacked out, like absolutely dark, like can't even see your hand in front of your face type dark.
Okay.
The light that, let's say if you have a window and that little bit of light that wakes you up in the morning, could actually be disrupting some sleep cycles. So actually just blacking out your windows enough that you don't even get woke up by the light in the morning, because you could be on a different schedule than the sun's rhythms, the circadian rhythms, if you will. So really just finding the blackest area of your house, or just if you have to black out shades, all that, but really just making it dark. Even those little lights that are like in the fire extinguishers type of thing, black them out if possible. TVs, we're going to get to electronics here in a second, but like any little light needs to be out. It'll help you sleep. You'll definitely notice. If you need to wear a mask, that can help too. Number 3, having a caffeine curfew. I know this seems like something that would be obvious, but a lot of people have other stimulants in their body, such as like chocolate or something like that, or anything that kind of picks you up.
Right.
An apple is actually shown to have more caffeine than a cup of coffee, believe it or not. So you might want to go check that statistic, but like anything that's going to pick you up, especially like carbohydrates and stuff, like having that kind of that pick me up curfew, and caffeine is definitely one of them. And having that curfew, mine's at 1 o'clock, nothing caffeinated after 1 p.m. And then number 4 is like I mentioned earlier, but electronics. Get this phone out of your room. Don't use it as an alarm clock right beside your head. Back to the studies, a lot of studies show that having this electromagnetic, any hardware that is emitting any type of electromagnetic, I'm not screwing up the words, but you get what I'm saying, is like get all electricity that emits anything out of the way, out of your room, away from your head. You're going to sleep much better if you sleep with the phone, get it out, and I guarantee you'll have just a little bit of a noticeable, and plus it's a stressor as well. And then the last one, let's talk about nutrition real quick. What can I do to limit calories coming into my body prior to bed? All right. About 1 to 2 hours is probably the most optimal amount of time not to have any calories, especially carbohydrates, because they're going to spike your blood sugar before you go to bed. So kind of having like a 1 to 2 hour, you know, I'm not going to eat anything before I go to bed. So when we look at these 5, we look at the right temperature, blacked out room, we looked at the caffeine curfew, we look at electronics, we look at your nutrition. Out of those 5, how can you specifically really improve in those 5 categories?
Right.
And if you're looking for supplementation or something to aid in sleep, a lot of studies are coming out right now with melatonin not being the choice. Look
Okay.
for like a tea, like chamomile,
Mm-hmm.
or if you're just looking for a supplement to help you get better rest, is the supplement magnesium.
Okay. All right. Yeah, that's awesome to think about. I've noticed with the eating patterns, if I eat something too late, then that will disrupt. Especially like if I eat sweets or something like that. If I have a bowl of ice cream or something late, I can definitely tell how my sleep is compared to not having that. But yeah, it's definitely those other things too. I hadn't thought about some of those things. So
A great book that I got done reading was Sleep Smarter by Sean Stevenson. I
okay.
listened to it on Audible and got through it in about 4 hours, but it was just like knowledge bomb after knowledge bomb on how the human body, basically, we're getting a hormonal reset at night. And if you want to be sharp and have good clarity during your day and really feel no fog and be rested physically, sleep is so important. And we're finding that people that are lacking sleep are gaining weight. We're finding that people that are lacking sleep have, low energy, low testosterone, and a lot of other health effects. And it just suppresses your immune system overall. I mean, I didn't mention alcohol, but alcohol is one of the worst things you can do right before bed that can really disrupt your sleep because your body's trying to excrete and detoxify that. So when you're disrupting sleep, you're really compromising your immune system as well. So in this day and age, it's so important to have a healthy immune system. So if you're looking at like, how can I keep away from getting and contracting, COVID? Like, well, one thing you can do is really be guarded about your sleep and your sleep habits. And I didn't mention, but even waking up at the same time every day, even on the weekends, can make massive difference in your sleep quality, because we want to get that sun, we want to get that light first thing in the morning. And then that starts the melatonin process. How you actually wake up actually starts the hormonal system right away in the morning, and that kicks off the melatonin, and it lowers that cortisol. But as you know, as the day goes on, your cortisol goes high and your melatonin goes low. And then when it gets dark out, we want to reverse those 2 hormones.
Right.
But good practices is get away from these screens at least a couple hours before bed, and just give that blue light some rest off your eyes and your system. And there's all sorts of harmful effects that electronics can do.
I'm definitely gonna read that book or listen to that book.
Yeah, Sleep Smarter by Sean Stevenson.
Awesome.
Yeah.
All right, Chris, this was great.
Absolutely.
Another good video put together. I think that this gonna be great information.
Absolutely, man. I look forward to our next one.
You bet. Talk to you later.
Cheers, bro.